Welcome back to the South End Zone, ladies and gentlemen. Chad, is Vanderbilt live against LSU this weekend?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.
You better worry about Ole Miss. Fool.
We're taking receipts, and as of right now, Vanderbilt is favored against the LSU Tigers. We'll get to that in a minute. Welcome back to the South End Zone. My name is Tyler, joined as always by my good friend Chad. Before we get into anything else, I want to make sure everybody likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. Chad, how we feel before this weekend of college football?
It's kind of crazy. Like there are a lot of games where I'm looking at some of these matchups, and the theme that we could see is like some road upsets. There's some games that I've got lined up here that look that way, and I mean LSU Vandy could be one of them. Who would have thought that LSU going on the road to Vanderbilt, like go back 2 years, and
Right.
it's an upset if LSU goes on the road and beats Vanderbilt.
Right.
It's kind of crazy, but that's a testament to what Clark Lee has done. We'll get into that game a little bit later, but you guys have your own challenge to not allow a road upset. The Rebels and Trinidad Chambliss and Lane Queefin come down to Athens.
They do,
What are you guys going to do?
They do indeed. And after what happened last year in Oxford in the rain and the field storming and everything else, yes, we do bring the Rebels to town. We are going to, quote unquote, stripe out Stanford this weekend. Something I've quite literally never seen done. I wish I had a picture of it. But Georgia's colors are black, white, and red. So we're going to have a section of black, and a section of white in the middle, and then a section of red on the other side. So you're going to have three stripes running down the middle of the stadium, making three different color coordinated sections to get the fans fired up. Kirby believes in defending home turf. After losing our home win streak to Alabama, and as far as this game is concerned, for me, as far as talk about game plan, talk about stats, I just want to win. I want a convincing win, taking care of business. This season so far, in my true opinion, we don't have a win to truly hang our hat on. Like the Tennessee win, let me back up. The Tennessee win was awesome for the reasons of we were down early, we fought our way back, and quite literally, if they don't miss a field goal, we lose anyway.
Yeah.
Auburn, the refs, just a garbage football game. Once again, shitty first half. We win anyway, and then you take care of Kentucky. We need our signature win of 2025. And by that, I mean I want to take care of business, start to finish. No first half bullshit. I want to see a dominant victory over over the higher ranked team coming into town. We are favored on the spread, which, considering almost undefeated, having won all their games, I don't understand how that works. I know they looked a little shaky against
A little
Wazoo
shaky.
last weekend. Shh. Listen, they're undefeated. We're not. That's kind of like where I'm at. Like I don't know how we deserve to be the home favorite when we lost to Alabama. Either way, you're going to have college game day in town, and I hope that Kirby keeps the boys locked in for this one. Trinidad Chambliss is a weapon, and people keep talking about they're bringing it up from the D2 ranks. As somebody who was a Division III athlete, when you're top at the top of the top, no matter what level it is, when you have the cream of the crop at any point, at any part, you're going to get the best. Ferris State is a very good team, so I guess Lane Kiffin saw his national championship game film and said, I want that guy on campus tomorrow. And that's what we have.
Yeah,
65.
the problem with the FCS teams and all that is it's the depth. It's that, I don't know, 1 through 22, 1 through 30. They're solid, but like you get to like the next, and really it's a handful of guys, maybe two or
Mhm.
three guys on each team that could be like really good
It's
quality
those
players.
under-recruited guys.
Yeah, you see these guys pop into the NFL draft. You see these guys splash in at the NFL level, and it's only a handful of them. And so that's the problem, is that they don't have that depth of
Mhm.
talent throughout the roster. But it doesn't mean that you can't have a guy who
Yeah.
is actually really, really talented playing quarterback at that level just because somebody didn't see it when he was in college. I mean, you see it a lot. Some people bloom later than others.
Mhm.
I've seen dudes that are 12 years old and they're just destroying everyone. And by the time they're all 18, that kid hasn't grown since he was 12.
It's true.
And there's, you got guys like Scottie Pippen who grew like 6 inches over a summer when he was 19 years old. So like I'm happy for Trinidad Chambliss to see what he's been able to do, and I think he brings a legitimate skill set to the game.
Dude,
Whether or not
absolutely.
he has all the rest of the package to be like an elite level national championship contender SEC quarterback, I don't know. We don't have enough data yet on that because he's only played a handful of SEC games. But he has a chance to prove himself this weekend going into Athens. I just think I think this spread is actually well placed. I give you guys a significant advantage. LSU played this team in Oxford, and we shot ourselves in the foot. Should have won that game, and credit to them, they did it. And Lane Kiffin's really kind of had LSU's number for a few years now. We kind of escaped last year, but he finds a way um, to screw a game or two up a year. This may be one of them, but he also finds a way to be really a really big pain in the ass that
Right.
you cannot take them lightly.
Absolutely not. And their defense is not full of mercenaries as it was last year, but I still something to respect. But I think all in all, Trinidad Chambliss is a guy. He's playing very, very well. You have to respect all of what he brings to the table
Mhm.
as far as throwing the ball and with his legs. 65%, 1286, throwing the ball, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, taken 5 sacks so far, and then 281 on the ground, 8 touchdowns. This is literally a Ferris State stat line with the way they run their offense. And as far as he has a stable of wide receivers, you got 3 guys over 300 with 2 more over 200. And so they spread the ball pretty evenly there, and we cannot, for the love of all that is holy, keep giving a guy a 6-yard cushion when he needs 5.
Yeah.
Like we can't have that, or we will just lose this football game at home. We need to get the run game going. It's the same thing that I beat my drum to every week. Now, I looked at their injury report, and it is not the same as it was last year prior to this game. All of their starters are healthy to be playing. We are going to be without Kyron Jones, who is actually Mr. Johnny on the spot, who recovered the fumble of the craziness last week
Yeah.
against Auburn. So, but other than that, and then you also have Juan Gaston, who is like a week to week, a day to day kind of guy, almost on a weekly basis. But he seems to play no matter what. But yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at right now, Chad. Like, I don't need to spit out a game plan that isn't very obvious. It's respect Trinidad Chambliss and his weapons, and I want a victory. I want a dominant UGA victory that we have not seen yet this season. I don't want this. Oh, we had to scrape from behind, and I know I want to take this shit by the balls and win this football game in Athens. That's how I feel, Chad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I feel like you guys have a chance to actually do that. So I I like your chances. I like the dogs in this one, which was it's kind of strange for me to say, right? Because I should be rooting for the team that we lost to keep looking better and winning. But I think you guys have a better chance. You've shown that you can run the ball effectively. They really struggle against the run. For whatever reason, we chose to throw the ball into drop eight coverage over and over again. We only ran the ball twice the entire game against Ole Miss in back-to-back plays with a running back.
Well, we
Um,
rarely go vertical nowadays, so we're not we're not
yeah,
going to worry about throwing it deep into coverage because nobody's going to be down there to throw it to.
right. So, well, they're probably not going to drop eight against you
Exactly.
guys.
That's
They're
also
probably going to
true. They're going to be up
probably going
front.
to
They're going to stack
stack
the
the line of
box.
scrimmage, yeah, and force you to throw the ball a little bit. But the ability to run the ball is going to be the key to this one, and I think you guys should be fine. The thing that you're going to have in your advantage is having that home crowd and having that little bit of assistance, that little bit of an edge when it comes to hearing the snap versus looking at the ball and getting off a little quicker. So yeah, I like the Dogs' chances here. 7.5, 6.5, whatever it ends up being. You're right there, and I think a touchdown, fairly comfortable. But I know what you mean. Like you don't want this to be the sort of thing where you're having to scramble from down by 10 in the second quarter
Yep.
to
Or
hopefully
worse. We've been worse.
worse. Yes, exactly. So
And
yeah.
Kirby Smart doesn't really cover very often. So, I'm not going to be shocked if we win this by 3 or 4. If we win, which I hope we do, Chad, I can't feel confident enough because I have not been given enough reasons to be. I think it's going to be inside this number.
Yeah.
So, y'all travel to good old Nash Vegas, Tennessee this weekend, which is now a place to play in the SEC, which if you rewind even 3 years ago, like you said, and growing up, it's like Vandy, you can mark that down as automatic W. Good old Vanderbilt, they're here because they raised the conference GPA. They're all going to be doctors and lawyers, and they're going to play football because they get a free education to become doctors and lawyers. And now here they are with NIL money, contending as a 5-1 team in the SEC with the only loss on the road to Alabama as the home favorite against the LSU Tigers, which I'll be honest with you, I thought they were going to be like a slight home dog, but when I saw this, they were favored on the spread, I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Not completely unfounded, mind you. I think we're going to have a strength-on-strength matchup when it comes to their offense versus your defense. So I'm curious to see what you say.
Yeah, so I mean, I think a few things. First of all, like right off the rip, some injuries that LSU's dealing with right now. Whit Weeks is questionable. I think it's a little soreness around his.
You gonna throw up?
What's that?
He's gonna throw up again.
Throw up again, yeah. Well, I think that has nothing to do with his injury availability. No, he's got a little. They said he was feeling some soreness relative to the ankle injury that he suffered in the Baylor bowl game last January. But I don't know. He all of a sudden he popped on the injury report as questionable, and I think he's trending in the right direction. But he was like walking around in a boot. That doesn't mean necessarily that he's going to be out. That's Braylon Moore was walking around in a boot a few weeks ago and has played like pretty much every snap at center since then. So it sometimes that's just like a precautionary stabilize and keep it allow it to heal a little bit better. Keep some of the weight and torque and everything off of it. So we'll see if he's not available. It starts to challenge. That he's LSU's best defensive player. He is the quarterback of that defense at middle linebacker. And look, we got some dudes, but the other thing is some of those dudes are starting to pop up on the injury report. Bernard Gooden, who's been LSU's best interior defensive lineman this year, is listed as doubtful, has a collarbone, is like a bruised collarbone. They said he was going to be okay, he was going to be fine, just pain management. But I'm listing him as doubtful as late as Wednesday, Thursday. Doesn't look real good, but we'll see if he's available. That helps keep the depth of that rotation a little bit better because LSU has some guys in the middle that rotate pretty well. You got Jacobian Guillory, Dominic McKinley, Bernard Gooden, and then it's just keeping those guys fresh. That is as important as the talent. Those other guys are just as talented as the next guy, but having that fresh rotation would be good. And then already losing Gabriel Relaford for the year at defensive end, LSU's down to Jack Pyburn and Patrick Payton and Jamari Butler. Now Jamari Butler's questionable with an ankle and supposed to be okay, should be able to play, but again, you don't know a um, if they're going to play, if they're going to feel up to it, what what level of performance are they going to be able to bring, and then you always have the chance of like an aggravation. So that at the front seven of LSU's defense is a little less than 100%. So that's going to be a challenge with Diego Pavia. And the biggest thing that you want to do when you're playing a team that I think they're number 2 in the country in third down conversions. They're in a lot of third and manageable, third and short, third and 2, 3, 4, not a whole lot of third and longs. Well, the way you limit that is by stopping the run and really challenging them on first and second down. That's been a theme that Kelly has just beat the drum with all week, is stopping them on first and second down, putting them in third and longer, more predictable situations to where they become a little more one-dimensional, and then you can get after them and forcing Pavia to throw the ball from the pocket. Not to say that he's not a capable passer. He's averaging, I think, 235 a game through the air. He does his thing. We've seen it. But if you're going to give up one thing or the other, I think trying to just stop him from throwing the ball and allowing him to run all over the place on you is a fool's errand. So what you've got to do is you've got to contain him in the pocket, force him to stay in that pocket and throw the ball, and then start to collapse that pocket around him, give him some trash to deal with so he can't have his eyes focused downfield, and trust LSU's elite secondary to be able to cover the back end. So that's kind of where I see this one is. All the concern about LSU's offense and everything else, yes, these are things that we have to be concerned about. But a defense that's giving up an average of 12 points a game so far this year, if they can continue to do what they do, the offense just needs to be serviceable at staying ahead of the chains, keeping Pavia off the field, moving the ball, creating third and manageable situations for our offense by running the ball and committing to that run game and staying committed to it, and then actually creating some pop plays. That's why I looked a lot better, had a little more zip, a little more swagger. I loved what I saw when the pocket kind of broke down and South Carolina's, you had Dylan Stewart's a dog. When he got upfield a little bit too much, though, Nussmeier cut underneath that and took off and had like a 21-yard run. And they said, Clark Lee was saying in his press conference that they measured Nussmeier at 20 miles an hour on the GPS. I was like, holy crap, I didn't know like he had it like that. But and that's the thing we've been saying for 2 years now. Man, like take advantage when they drop all those guys deep and the pass rush is getting way upfield. Just run underneath it and take the 15 yards ahead of you. There's just green grass. Take it. So if LSU can create some explosive plays in the passing game, but also in the running game, like they did against South Carolina, and keep the defense fresh by maintaining some possessions, give us some 6-7 minute possessions. One of those a quarter would be nice. I'm not greedy though. I'll take a couple of those a game, and then the rest of the time, just let's put a little 7, 8, 9, 10 play drive that eats up about 4.5 minutes, and let's get points when we get in the red zone. That's the other thing that's been LSU's Achilles heel. We've gotten into the red zone so many times, and when we don't turn the ball over, we score. It's if we can just not fumble the ball at the goal line or throw a pick in the end zone, that would be great. So I like our chances, but man, Vanderbilt is live. They're legit. Pavia is really good, and there's a reason why they're number 2 in the country on third down. And it's not just because they're in mostly third and short, it's because they've earned their way to third and short, and they know how to convert it. And Pavia is like that Swiss Army knife that he can do whatever it takes to get the job done. So yeah, I'm a little nervous about this one. I'm not going to lie. 11 a.m. kickoff, my local time. It's not ideal.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Vanderbilt, their offense is predicated off keeping the ball out of your hands, no matter who you are,
Mhm.
and letting Pavia work. And I've talked about Pavia being the ultimate road dog this year, ultimate road warrior, and then he lost Alabama, but still he fed all those hostile road environments.
Mhm.
But now you get him at home in Nashville, where they beat Alabama last year,
Right.
and he's going to feed off that even more. I think get the Vanderbilt students going. With all 10 of them. I'm kidding. They've been showing up now.
Yeah.
Now that they're good, they got something to show up for.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's strength on strength when you talk about their offense versus your defense. Um,
Yeah.
you're right. If you let Pavia start using his legs, they're also going to use him as a decoy in their own run game with the running backs. They have a litany of backs that let tote the rock. And when you start letting him get those exotic run plays going and,
Yeah.
misdirection with the ball on the ground, he won't even have to drop back that many times because you're just going to be chasing the wrong guy.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
it's one of the things that Brian Kelly brought up in his press conference yesterday. I think it was that it's like you're playing Navy. You have to
you
make
do.
sure that you're focused on doing your job. If
Yep.
you try to do somebody else's job, they're going to bust a big play.
Yep.
And if you just do your job and stay disciplined, you've got to what they and this is one of the things that they've done. What Clark Lee has done, recognizing that Vanderbilt's going to struggle to constantly recruit
Right.
3, 4, 5 star guys out of high school and develop them and keep them at Vanderbilt. So what they've done instead is they've gone and gotten not necessarily high profile guys out of the transfer portal, but they've gone and gotten veteran guys with like 4 years, 5 years of experience, fifth year seniors, fourth year juniors, guys like that, who come with a certain level of like their expectation is we want the guys who are going to do their jobs and be disciplined and have that attention to detail. And so if you don't match that and you just think you're going to go out there and uh, beat these guys just on the fact that you're more talented than them, and I would argue even that some of those guys, like we talked about it with Trinidad Chambliss and like the FCS, kind of the reputation, and that really what it is these guys are just under recruited. I think that there's a lot of these guys that play for schools like Vanderbilt that they're more talented than they're given credit for. They just didn't get the hype in high school. And so people don't realize that the gap isn't that big. But what they make up for the talent gap that exists, they make up for it in discipline and their scheme and just like whittling you down to a nub and making you be so like focused and determined and disciplined that if you break in any way, they're there to exploit it because their scheme is designed, like you said, those exotic running plays, the ways of getting you to have your eyes lie to you, and then you're chasing a ghost, and the ball is going the other way, and the cameraman doesn't even know who has the ball. That's the kind of stuff that will eat you alive. And if you stay disciplined and do your job, you can mitigate a lot of that stuff because you're not leaving the back door wide open.
Absolutely. That time of possession battle is so
Absolutely.
important when you're playing a team like Vanderbilt. And I've
Hmm.
said those exact words many, many times before. When you're at a school where you're not getting, those 5-star recruits out of high school or those 5-star recruits out of the transfer portal, you have to be that much more intentional
Hmm.
and creative when you're running your offense against
Yeah.
anyone. And they've decided it's our ball. We're going to keep it. And we're not going
Yeah.
to let you get us off the field. It's going to end in points. And if you're going to want
Hmm.
this ball back, you're going to have to work for it, period. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how they've kind of set themselves up as their identity. And I give Clark Lee a lot of credit for taking a program such as Vanderbilt, making them relevant in today's SEC. All it's done is bring the conference up. I think, like
Yeah.
you say, you take the top half of the conference and the bottom half of the conference, and they're closer than we've ever seen before. Those margins are so thin. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great game, man. I think you guys can absolutely win this game, no doubt about it. But Vanderbilt
Got
is
to.
absolutely going to give you everything that they're worth and more.
Mhm.
So Chad, I'm not going to, in my good faith, I'm not going to put my blind faith in the LSU Tigers, but I do want this for y'all, for the South End Zone, to go to Nashville and take care of business. That's how I
No,
feel.
you gotta have it. Gotta have it because
Yeah,
if you don't win this game,
and they need it
then
too. They need their
yeah,
signature win of the year
they do.
too.
They do. And if you don't win this game, you run the risk. You go in there and lose this game after losing a couple of weeks ago to Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt's coming off a bye after their first loss to
They've been
Alabama a
game
couple of
planning
weeks
for y'all
ago.
for 2 weeks.
They've had a lot of time to get ready for us, and that's not good. Giving them Clark Lee that much time to plan for us and everything. But no, this is a must win for LSU because it doesn't get any easier. Texas A&M comes to Baton Rouge next week. Then you got a bye week. Then it's Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Then you got Arkansas in Baton Rouge, Western Kentucky, and then you finish out at Norman, Oklahoma. Like it does not get easier. You've got to win this game because if you don't, your playoff chances are pretty much done because you would have to run the table the rest of the way to make it in there. You might be able to lose one more game if you beat 2 out of 3 of Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and Alabama, but you do not want to put yourself in that position to where you have to win 2 out of 3 of those and then hope for help. You pretty much have to win all 3 of them, and that's going to be tough. So yeah, this is a must win. LSU's got to go get it done, but they're not alone in going on the road and facing a tough challenge. Now, these guys are actually favored on the road, but Oklahoma goes to Columbia, South Carolina, and it's I think it kind of comes down to it's literally like Mateer versus Lenore Sellers.
Yep.
Is Mateer's head right because he struggled against Texas, and it was I think it was more mental than physical. I didn't see any problems with like the ball wobbling, floating off of his hand, or anything where like the grip didn't seem right after he had that thumb surgery when he broke his thumb a few weeks ago, which is crazy. Like, let's just talk about the fact that like that is crazy that dude had his thumb screwed back together
Yeah, he
two
had
weeks
literally
ago.
surgery on his throwing hand. It's crazy.
Yeah, on his throwing hand, on his thumb, on his throwing hand, not like on his pinky, his fifth metacarpal or something
Yeah.
like that. Where no, this is like on his thumb, on this bone right here, where
Hmm.
he's trying to grip and hold the ball and throw the ball, but it still looked good. But I think having the time away from the game that he had, you could see the effects. His eyes weren't as sharp. He didn't see some things, threw the ball into coverage, and just made some bad decisions, and it cost Oklahoma dearly. That game was actually a lot closer than it looked. But the flip side of this is, does Lenora Sellers put on his Superman cape again? And is it enough to beat Oklahoma's really stout defense? Because I'll tell you, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think he had like 21 yards on. No, it was 22 carries for 19 yards, I think, against us. But we had 5 sacks for like 55 yards against him. So he actually had more positive yardage than that. The thing is, though, you would have sworn we missed like 24 tackles. You would have sworn he ran for 200 yards. But what it was is he was getting tackled for a 14-yard loss in the backfield, and then he would break 3 tackles and scramble and get 2 yards. But it felt like you had lost
Right.
because you didn't sack him for a 14-yard loss. And so it's like if he just says like I got this, screw it, boom, and Williams Bryce is jumping, and it's I think South Carolina could be live here. It's not out of the realm of possibility for them to get their signature win of the year, and if John Mateer and that Oklahoma offense sputter a little like they did against Texas, um, I don't know. Just like the way that it happened with Texas, Oklahoma's defense is really, really good. But at some point, if you keep going 3 and out or turning the ball over, the dam is going to break, and you cannot contain Lenore Sellers
No,
for 4 quarters if you keep giving him the ball back.
exactly. You cannot keep giving him the ball back without points of your own. Period. You can't have empty drives against Lenore Sellers.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about pumping the brakes on him in the beginning of the year, and it had very little to do with him himself and about what was
Right.
around him. But like you said, that Superman cape can go on any moment, and he can go out there and steal his signature win. I'm pretty sure they went into Norman last year and beat Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. It
Yep.
was one of Beamer's signature wins of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think that South Carolina is absolutely live here to win. But if Batir is firing on all cylinders and that
Oh, yeah.
Oklahoma defense is doing what they do, I don't see a way they don't win. But like I said, you can't doubt Lenore Stowers, especially at home and Williams Bryce. Period.
No, for sure, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be definitely going to be tough. But yeah, like you said, it really kind of comes down to that: is Batir healthy enough to create enough separation between the Oklahoma offense and the South Carolina offense? Because both of those defenses are solid, stout. I think Oklahoma's is definitely better, but if Lenore Sellers does his Cam Newton impersonation, it may not matter. And if John Mateer looks like he did last week against Texas, he could be putting that Oklahoma defense in a real bind. So that's just stuff to watch for me. Another really interesting quarterback versus quarterback matchup for me is Texas A&M Arkansas. Now, everybody just sees Arkansas. They know they're 2-4. They know they got blown out by Notre Dame. It looked ugly. And it's so easy to just like glaze past this one. And I know like the Texas 8-4 people are going to think that I'm just saying this because I'm standing on the table and shouting 8-4 to the top of my lungs until they prove that it's impossible for them to lose at least 4 games. This is one where this is what they do. This is what Texas A&M does. They lose a game like this, and it starts the downward spiral. And I'm here to tell you, Arkansas, with Talon Green and Bobby Petrino now, like taking the reins of this entire program and starting to direct it, what people do not understand and realize is that Talon Green and this Arkansas offense have outperformed Marcel Reed and the Texas A&M offense. As even though A&M is 6-0, Arkansas sitting out. Defensive deficiencies, sure. Can they guard people on the back end? Hell no.
Nope.
But they've got enough talent, and this is in Fayetteville, okay? And I know Notre Dame went to Fayetteville and beat the brakes off of them.
That was my
But
thing too.
but
I
this
tried to
is
call this a few weeks ago against Notre
yes, but this is got the potential to be a little bit different. Arkansas is averaging 36 points a game, 511 yards per game, 218 rushing yards per game, and they are 57% on third down, number 4 in the country. If Texas A&M and Texas A&M's defense, as good as its reputation is, Texas A&M's defense is giving up an average of 20 points a game. This is not a world beater defense that we're talking about with Texas A&M. Now, it's Mike Elko. Teams are allowed to improve. He could very well be, continuing to work and get things kind of shored up on their defense, but you can score on this Texas A&M defense. And the other thing is, if Arkansas is consistently converting on third down and staying on the field and keeping Marcel Reed and that offense off the field, it may not matter so much that Arkansas might give up a few big plays on the back end, because if A&M is limited to like 7 or 8 possessions in the entire game, you could be looking at one of these games where it's 33-31, and next thing you know, you look up and it's like, how the hell did we lose to Arkansas? That's what I'm saying. Is that's where I think this thing has the potential to go. Not saying it goes there, just saying Arkansas is live, and that this is the kind of game that Texas A&M, Texas 8-4, loses. Every year they find a way to do something like this.
What's gonna happen? Is Texas A&M gonna Texas A&M harder, or is Arkansas gonna Arkansas harder in this game? That's really what it comes down to. It's
And I'll
Arkansas
tell
gonna
you,
have that wacky turnover when they might actually have momentum, or is Texas A&M just gonna not show up and get beat? Like that's
and that's
really
the other
what
part of it
big.
too that we haven't talked about is like, what if Texas A&M turns the ball over a couple of times? At some inopportune times. It's
Marcel Reed could the story interceptions and this
yeah,
year.
yeah. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, and I'm here for it.
Hey,
So.
for me, I tried to call this against Notre Dame. And then I saw the 15 yards of green grass the Arkansas secondary was giving Notre Dame receivers. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you can go to fit. They'll just whoop their ass. So Arkansas's got to show something to me. I am a huge fan of Taylor Green and what he provides to that offense. Well, I need to see something first.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely take the Aggies in that one, and probably even I like the over is definitely live too, 60.5. The over is definitely in play there. No doubt about it. We now have a rivalry that wasn't really a rivalry. Well, I should say a one-sided rivalry until once upon a time where Alabama went to Neyland Stadium and lost on a last-second field goal. We have Tennessee going back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to play the Crimson Tide on Saturday night. And I'll be honest with you, this game, a lot of these games really boil down to a few simple things right now. It's in Tuscaloosa, which is massive. Ty Simpson is looking like the most complete quarterback in college football right now. He's very good with the football. He does not turn the ball over. Alabama only has two turnovers on the entire year, and that's where Tennessee is going to have to make their money if they're going to want to win this football game, is to earn extra possessions, because Alabama, just like a Vanderbilt but on a larger scale, will not give you the ball back. You have to take it from them. Point blank, period. They execute too well, and it's weird in the sense of in Nick Saban era, it's just like, oh my God, they're breaking explosive play after explosive play. Now it's just we're just going to convert on third down until we're here, touchdown. Good job, everybody.
Or on fourth down.
Yeah, exactly. Or on fourth down, on 4th and 3, 4th and 4. Deep in enemy territory, they'll take care of business. On the flip side, Aguilar 64%, 1680 so far, 14 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He had an interception problem at App State. And if Bama starts daring him to make some big-time throws and they can, like I said, turn him over, Tennessee's going to have issues. They got to lean on the receiving core. I know they're going to be both starting running backs for both teams are probable for this game. Deshaun Bishop for Tennessee and Jay Miller for Alabama. So we will see. Tennessee has Star Thomas to lean on. And then on the outside, you have Chris Brazzell II, who is a stud. He's their number one receiver for Tennessee, 536 and 7 so far. Ty Simpson, 70%, 1678, 16 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Really being efficient with the football. And so I think the battle's going to be won in the turnover margin and time of possession. And
it doesn't bode well for Tennessee because
it doesn't. Not with Alabama.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just like I can't describe. Is what I'm saying makes sense? Like Alabama's just nickel and diming people to death. It's like this. They do make big plays, but it's really like you just can't get the ball back. It's just a back-breaking 4-yard run when they need 3 on 3rd and 3, or it's 4th and 3, 4th and 4, and they break a 6-yard play, and they just don't turn the ball over or give the ball back. So
reminds me a lot of the Colts when they won their first Super Bowl in 2008, it was, or whenever that was, where they or 06, I think, where they just it's like Peyton Manning would hit Marvin Harrison on the sideline for 0.3 yards more than what the first down was. It's that's it. What do we need? We'll get exactly that. Bring out the chains. Bring out the chains on every third down, and we barely got it by the nose of the football.
Yeah,
and it's so frustrating. That's the other thing, is that it's demoralizing.
That's what I mean. It's backbreaking. It really is.
It's not just that it's a conversion. It's that it's also it breaks your soul as a defense to have that happen to you over and over again.
It is, and that's exactly what they did to us in Athens. They literally said, "Okay,
Mhm.
we're going to keep converting third down after third down." Even when they're third and long, like they still convert, and that's like the biggest thing is like they get to the third and manageable, and if they're not, they still convert anyway. Aguilar is kind of the opposite in a way of Ty Simpson, where he deals in the explosive downfield shots.
Yeah, it's a
It's
lot
like
of big plays.
he breaks your back, and all of a sudden he just throws 50 yards over your head down to Brazel,
Right.
and you have a touchdown. And they apparently Tennessee has scored on their opening drive of every game so far.
Mm.
So that'll be, I believe that is the case. Don't quote me.
Mm.
And so Tennessee is absolutely in this game. I think we've talked about it enough with the SEC. The margins are razor thin. It's about matchups at this point. And if Tennessee comes to play and they can catch Alabama even on one turnover, if you're Tennessee, you can go +1 on the turnover margin against
Yeah.
Alabama and steal an extra possession and make something happen with that possession. That's a entirely different football game than just letting Alabama nickel and dime you to death and just outpossession you with third down to third down. But yeah, so I like this game a lot. I'm very excited for this one. I think this is a game that could go over as well. Both offenses are prone to put points on the board. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm gonna say that Alabama's probably gonna win this game, but I'm gonna be Stephen A. And I would not be surprised if
I would be
Tennessee.
surprised. I
Oh
would be
yeah,
surprised if Tennessee
yeah,
wins. Yeah.
yeah.
That's just
I
me.
would say keep it close. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, any given Saturday, but like it's
Yeah, Alabama's looking
This
legit.
Alabama team is Kalen DeBoer has actually kind of turned it around after that embarrassing loss to Florida State,
That's
who
what I
looks like
mean.
crap now.
You can take that loss and light it on fire like it never happened.
Yeah,
You can
right,
just
right.
you throw that away. Never even occurred. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I think Alabama also is going to come out of this with a win. And
Staying in
now,
Alabama,
staying in Alabama, we have the Missouri Tigers against the Auburn Tigers. And once again, it's pretty simple. Missouri in a get back spot, and as Hugh Freeze just waved the white flag after just back to back, just demoralizing, with the stuff with Oklahoma, losing to us. They're now 3-3. They brought in all these guys, and what have they done for them? Not a whole lot. I think this is an absolute get back on track spot for Missouri. There's a lot of 5-1 teams in the SEC, one-loss teams. And as time goes on, the teams that there might not be a one-loss team in the SEC when all is said and done. If things keep trending the way they are, everybody might have at least 2 losses by playoff time. And my thing is, I know that Mizzou's defense can absolutely stop Auburn, but can Auburn stop Missouri? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think
This
so
is
either.
another one of those ones where, like, technically Auburn's favored in this game. Or they were. I think they were.
They're not anymore. I
They're
think the
not
line
anymore.
flipped. The
Yeah.
line
So
flipped, but it's still a pick
let's
'em
put
the
the
other way.
line. Yeah, let's put the line up the updated line on the
Yeah,
board here.
it's a pick 'em the other way. And so it's nothing
Yeah.
crazy, but I would take Mizzou to honestly beat the brakes off Auburn. Like Mizzou,
I think so too.
I think that Mizzou's offense just ran into a very good Alabama defense, and then had to Mizzou's defense had to work as hard as they can, and brought it to within 3 down the stretch, mind you. Alabama just had a big lead early. I think this is a good get right for Bo Perbula. I think it's a good get right for that Mizzou run game. I think that on the plains, as they've been saying, Mizzou takes care of it. I'm not overthinking it. Give
And
me the
not for
Tigers.
nothing, like Missouri's defense, like showed
They're
why
good.
they were as good as
They're
they were.
very good.
They, like, we were talking about, like, oh well, their defense is really good, but they haven't played anybody. No, they went and, like, they kept their offense in the game.
Right.
For
They
a big chunk of
actually turned Alabama over
that.
late in the game, which not a lot of people have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And if Perbula just sees the receiver down to the bottom of to the left side in the flat, it's a first down. They're going down. They may be kicking a game tying field goal. They may be scoring a touchdown to win the game, but instead he throws it over the middle, throws it over the guy's head.
He won't not do that. He won't do that again. That we can say for sure.
Yeah.
I think
So
that
they.
he's going to want this one badly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you heard Eli Drinkwitz talk about it after the game too. That was one of the things that I was impressed with. Always, you learn a lot by hearing the way that a coach responds to either success or failure when things go a certain way. And his response was just like, "No, we're not. There's nothing positive to take away from this. Like, we wanted to win this game. We didn't win the game. We lost. Like, we're pissed off. Like, it's not. This is not a. Oh yeah, we played close. Like, I'm not here to play games close. I'm not here to look good losing. We came here to win. Like
Right.
it's. And so, a lot of times you'll hear coaches do. You know, Dabo Sweeney, week 1 against LSU, where he's like, it's like giving your final exam in the first week. They got a 58, we got a 55, or whatever he said, whatever, some dumb grade thing. Like he was already making excuses for his team in week 1, and it's like, no, like, own it. And and you kind of seen that with their team as the season has gone on. It's almost like they were making excuses for themselves for 3 weeks before they finally got their act together and said, like, no, we're going to take pride in ourselves and in this program to try to be better. And I think Missouri is ripe to, yes, to possibly just beat the ever living brakes off of Auburn
That's how I see it.
as payback for what happened last week
Yep.
when they lost a close one to Alabama.
That's exactly how I see this game, man. I don't see it any other way. The Tigers going to beat the Tigers.
That's right. There you go.
That's how I see that. And
The
then we
swamp
have
is
an
the thing,
interesting
man.
one. We have an
You don't
interesting
go
one
into the
here.
swamp and just come out of there alive. Like, there's something about the swamp that is tough. And Vegas looks at this game and says, you know what? Florida's going to win this game by 2 scores. And I was just like, damn, that's awfully ambitious for this Billy Napier squad that has lost 4 games already. But then you look at who they've lost to: South Florida, who's not a bad football team, LSU in Baton Rouge, Miami in Coral Gables, and then last week Texas A&M in College Station. Like, you think about it, like, their one blemish that is not against a top 10 team on the road is against South Florida. And South Florida's not bad. Like,
Nope.
we were talking about South Florida being very possibly the Group of 5 representative in the playoff. So I don't know. What do you, when you look at this one, what did you think?
So apparently the word on the street is that Napier is getting fired regardless of the result of this game. I don't know why that's the word on the street. That's like there's rumblings of that I heard. And I don't know if it came. I think it came down to like Jimbo Fisher had like I guess this game on the docket and they won it and they got fired anyway. I believe that's like where this is coming from. Um, and so listen, Mississippi State has shown that they are on their way to being back, which is huge for once again huge for the SEC and huge for their program. I think that Lagway has shown why we were led to believe that he is so good
Mm-hmm.
as of late, and that Florida defense is also very, very good.
Jerry.
It's just a matter of Billy Napier. This is one you have to win.
Mm-hmm.
They're in your house, and they're already doubled their win total from last year, and so
Yeah.
this is a take care of business spot for you, Billy. And if Mississippi State walks in and beats you, you're done.
Yeah. Well, so
You
I'll
are
say this.
one misstep away from getting fired, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Florida gets right in this game for a lot of reasons, regardless of that narrative. But let's just say it's true that this is actually his last game as Florida head coach, regardless of the outcome. Um, then there's forget about that. Forget about that. Let's just take this from the perspective of the players. If this narrative is out there and players are hearing it, I remember LSU back 2016, 17. So the year before Miles got fired and they brought Ed Ogeron in, LSU was playing Texas A&M, and there was a board meeting going on during the Texas A&M game, and they were like going to fire Les Miles, and then we beat Texas A&M, and they like carried Nick Saban off the field. I mean, carried Les Miles off the field. The players did, and it was like, this is his last game. We're gonna, win one for, Les Miles going away, and they do all this stuff, and then they come out of this board meeting or whatever, and they're not firing him. And so it's like, I'm not saying that Billy Napier doesn't get fired. That very well could just be the writings on the wall, and it's happening regardless. What I'm saying is that when this sort of thing starts, this sort of narrative starts, you see something in that group of players that was recruited by that coach and has been playing with that coach, has been going to practice with that coach. If they hate him, no. I think what we saw a couple of weeks ago against Texas, and even like you look at how they came out to start that game against Texas A&M, they scored first. They were going toe to toe, possession for possession with Texas A&M, and then A&M just like pulled away. Florida turned the ball over a couple of times, and it just got ugly at the end of the game. But that was actually a game for about a half. I don't think that this team has given up on Billy Napier. I think that they're still playing hard for him. And so I don't think it's one of those situations where they're kind of like hoping he gets fired, waiting for him to get fired because they're sick of him. I've seen those kind of situations, and they damn near sabotage the coach just to accelerate the decline, right? I think this is the opposite, and I think this is one of those situations where they feel like this is their last chance to play for their head coach who they love. It's going to be trouble for Mississippi State in the Swamp.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that Florida takes care of business here. And I think that Florida definitely gets out here with the win. This is, like I said, around the time last year where they all of a sudden decided, hey, we're gonna start winning football games now.
Right.
We're out of the playoff, but damn if we're not gonna make a bowl game.
And they've already started doing that now. They
that's what
already
I
beat
mean.
Texas 2 weeks ago in the Swamp.
Yeah, that's
so
what
like,
I mean.
you like your chances, Mississippi State being
I don't.
better than Texas? I don't.
I don't.
Yeah, and look, Mississippi State was a good little story for a couple of weeks where they beat Arizona State, and but then you started to see you start to put a little bit of faith in them, and then it's like, oh yeah, no, they're still, it's Mississippi State and Kentucky at the bottom of the league, and then Arkansas is right above that, and then everybody else is like a playoff contender.
Yeah. They're on their way. They're on their way, which is good, but they're not there yet. They're on their way to being back, but they're not there yet. Right. So give me the Gators and Billy Napier.
Yeah. So we got a crazy one here. This is another one. Remember I talked about there's a lot of like road upsets that I could see happening. This is one that I have circled that I think very well could be a road upset where you've got number 20 USC against number 13 Notre Dame. Spread has now moved to 9.5. Is that what I'm seeing?
9.5 is the number.
9.5 is the number. Jeez. Yeah, man. It's Jaden Mayava, Makai Lemon, King Miller. It's those guys against CJ Carr, Jeremiah Love, and the Faison kid. Jordan Faison. Yeah, it's I was almost said Rasul Faison, but that's the kid that plays running back for South Carolina. He's a transfer, but yeah, those trios on offense for those two teams going up against these defenses that have shown some things, but have also shown to be very vulnerable at times. It's Lincoln Riley, so they're going to be vulnerable on defense, but they played really well against Michigan last week and handled their business. They had one busted play late where Bryce Underwood hit a deep ball, but USC's actually been playing pretty decent defense, and they're still standard Lincoln Riley offense, hanging 45 on people. So this is going to be This is going to be a slugfest. I don't know what the over under is at this point, but when this whole thing
Probably in
started,
the
we're at
60s.
61 and a half.
Yeah,
I
I
think
was gonna
61 and a
say
half is pretty
they'll
it's
get
pretty
there
safe. I want to go. I want to go over on that.
for sure, and I
I
probably
think
will too.
I think this game gets there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of where I see it too. My thing is that USC win against Michigan says a lot more about Michigan and how their program looks this year.
Mhm.
Now, don't get me wrong, USC has a great offense, but I'm not gonna say that they can stop Jeremiah Love, and they also have Jadarian Price, another running back,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they have Great House, and they have Face On, and they have CJ
Right.
Carr who can throw
Right.
and do it with his
And
legs.
run. Yeah.
Like so, I think that Notre Dame might just be too much for USC to handle, and this is in South Bend at
Yeah.
night,
Yeah.
historic rivalry.
And it's one of the it's that rivalry that goes back, and they've been playing the
However,
push for
the Bush push,
for
this
2 weeks now.
Notre Dame, this is every game is a must win because those two losses are aging like the finest wine that I've ever seen. Two losses
Mhm.
age
Yeah.
ever to
Yeah.
Miami and Texas A&M.
And close losses too. That's the
Close,
other
very
thing.
close losses. Like that's what I mean. Like literally by a point to Texas A&M.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is a game you have to win. You have to run the table. This is going to be it being your signature win if you should win this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like Notre Dame. I'm not going to get got by doubting them anymore. I think that there's a lot of recency bias on
Mhm.
USC. Had they not done what they did to Michigan last weekend, this would be a 2-touchdown spread. I'm not stressed about it.
They did lose at home to Illinois, and we know
Bam.
what that
Give me the
means.
Irish. That's case closed.
Fair enough.
And then we have a game tonight, Friday night football down in
Mhm.
Coral Gables, because Miami still has not played a game outside of the state of Florida. It is mid-October at this point. And Louisville ain't it, Chad. Louisville's not the team. I don't think any team in the ACC at this point is a team. For me personally, I just don't see that Miami falters here. You know, a Friday night game can always get a little squirrely on teams, as we saw
Yeah.
at Florida State, but that was away at UVA. This is totally different. You got them coming to your place. Way
Mhm.
easier to play on a not Saturday. And Miller Moss has been sacked 13 times this year.
Jeez.
If you're giving up a minimum 2.5 sacks a game, you ain't beating Miami.
Yeah.
Period. With that team that they have on their side. So I'm not overstressing this one. Carson Beck looks great. Shout out to him. Yay! I'm kidding. He's good. We didn't do him
I'm
enough
sorry.
justice.
I'm
It doesn't.
sorry.
I told you there is a such thing as a win-win situation, and I think that Miami and Georgia have found theirs. I think that Beck needed to be in Miami to flourish as he is, and with the weapons that he has, and Tony and C.J. Daniels and Mark Fletcher, they're all a bunch
Mhm.
of studs. I see Miami, and honestly, they could cover 13.5, no problem.
Yeah. I could see that. Definitely. My this little computer that I was using has the internet just went out on it, but it's back. So I'm trying to pull up the graphics again.
That's
But
okay.
let me
We
just
can move right along, Mr. Chad, because I don't have much else for that game. To
Mr. Chicken
Washington is going away to Ann Arbor to play Michigan. That spread is -4.5
Yep.
in favor of the Wolverines. How do you see this one?
Damon Williams is a dog. He does everything. And then you got Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston. Like he's got a running back complement. He's got a go-to receiver, and just putting up numbers left and right. Who do they play? Shoot, they had a game a couple of weeks ago where he just went off. Damon Williams and but anyway, they Bryce Underwood and Justice Haynes. They do their thing. They can show flashes here and there. They are playing this one in the big house, as they call it. Um, but I don't know. I just have a hard time. I kind of feel like what you were saying is right about, and I remember I was talking about the theme for me being some of these road upsets, being like the home teams in a lot of these games need to be on upset alert. Um, I think Washington is very live on the road in this game, and I would not be surprised at all. You've heard Drew and Jeremiah talk about like that. Washington's got a tough squad. I've seen, especially with the way that Devon Williams is able to run the ball and throw the ball and just kind of keep you. It's when you've got a guy that the problem with the dual threat quarterback is not the designed run stuff, and it's not even like the read option stuff. It's the you think you got him, and the play breaks down, and you miss a tackle in the backfield, and next thing you know, he's either hitting a guy downfield for a 40-yard gain, or he's breaking it off and he's getting a conversion on third down with his feet, and it's backbreaking, and he has the capability of doing that. Reminds me a lot of DTR back in the day for UCLA, where it's like that he's smaller size, but like super quick and has some wheels. But a lot of what he does is scrambling and then looking to find somebody open downfield. But he's more than capable of picking up a first down on third down by himself. So I think it's going to be too much for Michigan. I think what we've seen with Bryce Underwood so far at Michigan is that every game it seems like there's this stretch of he's like 11 for 25 or something like that for like 90 yards, and he'll hit a big play here or there, but the rest of the time it's very JJ McCarthy,
It's
where it's like,
training wheels. A lot of people are saying with the way
yes,
they're scheming these
yes,
things up. It's training
yeah,
wheels.
yeah, and it's ugly. Like it's I'll go back to it. I keep saying it, like, man, I hope you're happy with the $12 million, because this is what it's going to
I'm
be
sure
like
he is,
to be
but dude,
Michigan's
if you
quarterback.
want to win football games or have money, you can do both. If you didn't go to Michigan,
Yes, that's right. That's right. So, and I don't know, I wish them the best. Maybe next year and the year after they'll be great, but I doubt it. What we've seen from the last couple of years with Michigan is that they are trending towards being like a 500 to maybe like 4 or 5 loss team year in year out, unless they make some radical shakeups. It's like even in the Harbaugh era, um, they flashed for a couple of years, but the rest of the Harbaugh era, like they were talking about firing him.
oh, multiple times. No,
It was
absolutely.
like, so
He
like
he
let's
literally
not,
struck gold in one season,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
dipped
Put together.
by
He was
cheating.
like the Ed Ogeron of Michigan.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good luck, Bryce Underwood. Moving right along,
We got Texas Tech
Texas Tech,
heading out to the
Arizona State.
desert.
Are they? It's down to 7.5. Man, I got to stop making these graphics 3 days in advance because the line moves so much.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with
Some of them the
you.
line didn't move at all, and
It's
some
all
of them was
good.
like massive movement.
I
But
got you, Chad.
is Texas Tech going to throw tortillas in Tempe, Arizona?
No, they're gonna
Um,
beat the shit out of Arizona State. I really don't see. You know how you say Texas A&M is Texas 8-4 until proven otherwise? Well,
yeah,
Texas Tech is the bar none best team in that conference until I'm shown to be
yeah,
otherwise.
I agree.
Baron Morton is day to day right now. Doesn't matter because they're backup. I'm not losing this kid's name because I'm not an asshole. Will Hammond, he went like 13 for 16 against Utah and actually beat them worse than when
Hmm.
Baron Morton was in that game. And Cameron Dickey, the running back's a stud, 591, 8 touchdowns. And that Texas Tech defense is no joke. And Sam Levitt is looking like he's probably going to play. But in my opinion, it does not matter. This is not the same Arizona. It was what they
Yeah,
did last year was sick. What they did against Texas was awesome. But you see with Cam Scatterboot try to run every NFL defensive tackle over in the NFL, they
what
sorely
a
missed
difference
that
maker.
dynamic. He's speed running CTE in the NFL. He's going to have the best 3-year career we've ever seen in our entire lives because he's trying to put his head through everybody's chest.
He's going to be the Chris Borland of running backs.
He's literally going to be like the biggest flash you've ever seen. But they're missing that sorely. Obviously, that's Jordan Tyson, who's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
But until proven otherwise, Texas Tech is the bar none best team in the Big 12, and in my opinion, the Big 12 champs at the end of the year. So I'm not overthinking that one at all. The Holy War at BYU. Tell me about it, Chad.
Devon
I like Utah.
Dampier does it all. Like he is, he's a dude. But like, let's be real. Let's talk about a guy playing quarterback wearing the number 47. Bear Bachmeier is a quarterback who wears the number 47. So can you imagine? Does he just stand in the pocket and throw the ball downfield? No. He leads the team in rushing. They throw the ball some, but they really run the hell out of the ball. It's BYU. We will see both of these teams run the ball a lot. They're 12th and 15th, respectively, in the country in rushing offense. But Utah is the number one team in the country in third down conversions at 60%. And I think we've seen it from them a lot so far this year. They had that big opening win against UCLA. UCLA doesn't look as terrible as they
what
did.
Do you mean? They look good. That's the thing. They look good. Anyway, I keep giving UCLA credit because it's just incredible what they did in a short amount of time.
In a very short, in a week. They're like, Sean Foster, get out of here. Okay, now we're gonna start winning. And we're gonna get another coach fired. Shout out to James Franklin. We'll get to your team in just a minute. But yeah, I like Utah in this game as well. It's another one of those ones where it's not a road upset if they win because they're favored by 3.5. But like I'm telling you, watch out for the road teams this week. I don't think necessarily so much with you guys' game, but a lot of these other games.
You have to give that disclaimer.
I have to give that disclaimer. No, but like you guys, the Mississippi teams, like I don't like Mississippi State going to Florida. I don't like Louisville going to Miami, but like a lot of these other games, like you go through them and it's like, yeah, I can see the road team winning that game. Yep, I can see the road team winning that game. I can see the road team winning that game. So we'll see. Like, will the home teams hold serve, or is it going to be a road dog weekend? And I think Utah is one of the teams that has a capability of getting it done. So finally, our last game on this slate is how the mighty have fallen.
Dude, let me tell you
we
something.
Went from Penn State being a national championship favorite to they are going on the road to Iowa and they are a 3-point dog.
Bro, when this game was on the schedule, it's just Iowa at night. And how this game should have shaken out preseason is that you have Penn State with either one loss or no losses. Are they going to stumble against Iowa? Iowa can move the ball now. Right. Well, I don't know. Now you have the truest Big Ten matchup of a 38.5-point over-under with a game that involves Penn State and Iowa.
No Drew Aller.
No Drew Aller.
No James Franklin.
You get Ethan Grunkemeyer as the quarterback. No James Franklin. It just is how the mighty have fallen. It's an unranked matchup on both sides of the ball, which is even crazier. And it's just sad. It really is just, to me, it's sad. But Penn State fans, I'm gonna keep saying it's gonna be my weekly segment on this podcast. We gave Mark Richt 15 years.
Yeah.
We were 4 yards away from a national championship appearance and never got that close again.
Yeah.
So what I'm here to tell you is the powers that be make the decision, they stick to it. It's not about just getting another guy. It's about finding the right guy so you don't have to do this again. Period.
What's funny about that, what you just said, is that Do you know who the longest tenured coach in college football is?
Kirk Ferentz. He's been the
So
Iowa
it's
head
just
coach as
funny
long as
because
I've
like
been alive.
if Penn State beats Iowa and Iowa becomes a 3-loss team, there's no way in hell they're firing
Nope.
Kirk Ferentz. It's like it's
He
just
he
not
will
happening.
he will decide when he's done coaching that football team. Nobody else has that decision. It's like he will decide. He's like, all right, guys, I'll retire.
Penn State comes within a play of the national championship last year, and they fire their coach 5, 6 games into the season this year, and Kirk Ferentz hasn't even sniffed a national championship contention in his entire 26-year career as Iowa's head football coach. And he's going to lose 3 or 4 games this year, too, if not
That's
more.
fine,
And he's going to keep his job.
and that's fine. Just real fine.
There's no
Uh,
expectations in
it's
Iowa.
crazy that apparently James Franklin was always 2 losses away from losing his job. Apparently, like it was always because
Yeah,
that was the agreement, though, right? You don't lose the games that he just
don't lose
lost, and
those.
not
Yeah.
they didn't lose to Northwestern by some fluke. They literally just got beat straight up, head up. Doesn't matter. Yeah, give me Iowa in that game
Yeah.
until unless Penn State wants to show some signs
So
of life.
yeah, so that's the thing with I was talking to somebody at work about this that like what's hard to read on a game like this, right, and on a team like Penn State is
They
you
could galvanize the
never
team.
know. Yeah, like the talent. Drew Aller injury aside, like if Drew Aller was still around, I would feel a little bit differently about it. But still, like that roster from top to bottom still has all that talent, just minus a starting quarterback, right? Um, at some point,
And they ran
does
the
their
ball better anyway.
at some point does their emotional thermostat kick in and say, "Hold up, we are not going to allow. We are going to have enough pride, enough self-respect. We are not going to allow ourselves to be down here. We are going to play up to the level of what our expectations are." Does it start this week? I don't know. I think this is a really bad spot after losing their head coach. I think they could come out with a very, very flat approach. But I think they could be live in one of these games that they were supposed to lose under James Franklin and still potentially make the playoff, where you better be careful if you take Penn State lightly down the stretch, because I don't know when it's going to kick in, but at some point, those dudes are going to be like, no, not on my watch.
You have to, or why the fuck are you there?
Exactly.
Like, why? Like, just fucking sit out for the rest of the year. God
Yep.
damn. Like,
Yep.
my thing, and like I said, I'm not a Penn State fan, but I am like been pretty around the program.
Yep.
And James Franklin ushered that team out of off the back of the biggest, most horrible scandal in all of college
Yeah.
football. And it's not like some of these teams turn over coaches because they can't get it right. James Franklin has been the coach for like 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like, and like I told you, a great person,
Mm-hmm.
a great culture guy, a great recruiter. It just couldn't. You could never make it happen with the X's and O's.
Look,
He had the Jimmys and Joes, in my opinion, to get it done.
Vanderbilt's best ever year
They beat
in the
us.
SEC is 5 wins. They've never won more than 5 SEC games in the history of the program. James Franklin did that in like year 2 or 3 at Vanderbilt.
They beat us. That was the last.
And
That was one of the last times Vanderbilt beat us. Was when James Franklin was the head coach.
Yeah.
Like it's like. So it's weird to see James Franklin not be the head coach of Penn State, and it's about them getting the right guy. I think that we've already seen it, and that's the thing I want to talk about. I know that we're deep in the episode, and thanks for those who stuck around, but clearly Penn State already called because Chris Netter just got an even bigger contract extension, and that's an effect you're going to see when a job like Penn State, with the amount of like private equity and Adidas, apparently Adidas is going to be their sponsor moving forward after this year, and there's a real amount of money going in that university coming forward, and there's rumors that I've heard that are rumors that Adidas might have even fronted the money for the buyout on Franklin. Well,
it's possible.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's about getting the right guy. Like, you can't just say it's Matt Rule and that's it. You have to really look at your options because
Mhm.
you don't want to have to do this again in 2 years, like I said. And
Yep.
the other thing I wanted to kind of mention is it's weird having these coaches hirings and firings without the Saban, what they call it, the
Yeah.
Saban retreat for wayward coaches.
Right.
When you could just go hire one of his assistant coaches, but yeah, it's like going to the adoption agency and be like, I want you, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna be my head coach,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be great. Like, there's just none of that anymore. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens. But I think you're gonna see a lot of coaches leveraging this Penn State opening to get more money from their current
Yeah.
program.
No, for sure. For sure. Signetti was the first. He won't be the last.
He won't. They're gonna
And I
call
think
for
it's
people.
the thing it's he was the most obvious first one to have this happen
Yep.
because right now Indiana looks like they might be the best team in college football, and it's freaking Indiana.
It's Indiana.
So imagine what Kurt Signetti could do with actual resources.
That's what I mean.
Like holy cow. So they're gonna take a swing, and he's gonna get that phone call, and next thing you know, it's gonna be he's gonna have that money sit on his head. I remember when Texas fired Mac Brown, I think it was like a week later, Nick Saban had a new 10-year contract on his desk.
It happens
Because they were threatening, they were trying to go
open.
after him. Texas wanted to hire Nick Saban away from Alabama, and Alabama was just like, here's $100 million for 10 years. Now let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens. It's the thing that's crazy about all this is as just like a regular guy working stiff, like just doing, it's just, man. I know, and I heard Josh Pate talk about how, people talk, oh, he's got $50 million reasons to not be too upset about this. And okay, yeah, look, man, I get it.
That's his family was there though. He's a person.
Right. He's a person, and his family, and there's all that stuff. And yeah, I get that. Everybody else has that same stuff too. But like when a regular person gets fired, it's rough.
Yeah.
Like you actually have like bills that you can't pay, and he's gonna be fine. James Franklin will be all right, and I'm sure somebody is gonna be like, we'll take like that, like the way he builds a program, the way he builds a culture. We'll take that.
As long as programs keep hiring Hugh Freeze, anything is possible.
Bro,
that's what I'm saying. As long as those guys keep getting fucking hired as head coaches, James Franklin, surely.
Yes.
And he might not even be a head coach. And I don't even think he cares. But he will. 100%.
I think his next job is as a head coach. I don't.
Yeah, I think it will. I think
it might be a little bit of a step down, but he'll be a head coach again.
I think honestly, where he can make his money is almost like a passion project, like a lower team gets him, and he will build your program and take him to a level that you've never seen before. Like you just give him the time and the resources. I think he's a program builder. He's just not a game planner. And somehow usually those two things go together, but he somehow took one and not the other. It's really weird. But that kind of does it for our weekend preview. It's already week 8, which is insane. We've been having a lot of fun so far and having fun with y'all. So we appreciate y'all for stopping by. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Our teams have 2 big games this weekend, so we hope when we reconvene with y'all on Sunday that we are 2-0. That's what we try to do every week as this podcast goes 2-0. We appreciate each and every one of y'all out there. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. For me and for Chad, this has been the South End Zone. We appreciate y'all. We out.
Ladies and gentlemen. intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.